Celeste, how was your experience in Australia?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was definitely a learning experience, my first time um being overseas for that long. Obviously I've had some stints with USA basketball, so I've kind of, understood being the overseas and the style of play a little bit. But just being in one spot for a while, getting to really know my teammates and my coaches, and the front office over there has been really cool too. But overall, I think I had a pretty good first year overseas.
And what led you to playing in the off season in Australia? Did you have other opportunities or other offers to go elsewhere?
Yeah, I had some offers other places. I think for me the biggest thing was just making sure that it wasn't too long of a season. I know a lot of the EuroLeague and Euro Cup teams they usually play for a long time going into like April and May, and just the fact that I haven't had a break since the start of college. I think like just making sure that I had a little time to like rest and figure out my next move after that. So I think that probably the biggest thing that went into it. I also the warm weather there, summertime over there didn't hurt at all either. I know a couple people in Australia, I have a lot of friends out there. And so I think that also kind of played a part, just being somewhere that also speaks English as well. So yeah, I think those are probably the biggest things that went into it.
And how difficult was it to adjust to life in Australia because you'd never been there before signing with the Flames?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, everything is like I said, they speak English there, so it's not like I have to deal with a language barrier. But I mean, overall, it was like an incredible experience. I think like the food's cleaner, I think just different things like that. I was in Sydney, so I was kind of in the city, so wasn't too different. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't too hard adjusting.
And then with the Flames, you started playing point guard and then transitioned to playing shooting guard later on during the season. Which of those positions do you prefer, and where do you see yourself fitting in with this Mercury team this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I've always been a pretty versatile player, a player that can play multiple positions. I think so, just keeping that open and in mind. I started in the point guard spot, but, throughout the game, like you notice when our point guards go down, I bring up the ball, I initiate offense. So, yeah, I sometimes I don't really like putting labels onto what position that I am and what position I play. But just being able to guard, in the end of the season, we struggled with injury, and so I was playing the 4-5. So I was kind of all over, but I think that just helped me out as a player and just being able to understand different positions and um, being able to be very versatile. But I mean, to go into Phoenix, I mean, whatever position is needed for me to play, I'm more than happy to play. I think just having to sit overseas helped me be more comfortable in certain positions. And then when you have great players around you, it makes it that much easier to play a position like the point guard spot. So I mean, obviously, whatever spot I'm willing to do, but even last year, Coach Nate moved me around from one to two to even the three sometimes. So just whatever position is needed, honestly.
And how does playing for Nate differ than playing for Coach Goy Malloy in Sydney?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're big players coaches. I think, Coach Nate, obviously we had a lot of veterans on our team, so he was more in tune with, I think, us as players, and just trying to get a lot of feedback from players where like we had like a couple veterans on the team and a lot of us were first years in the WNBL. And so I think just, trying to keep it more basic for us, more simple for us. But I mean, overall, two really good coaches. I feel like they understand the game. They know how to use their players. Coach Nate is really great at, putting people in the right spots. And yeah, I mean, really good coaches. So I'm definitely lucky to have played under both of them.
And then for those that might not follow the WNBL, you had your own injury in February. You had that foot injury. How's your foot feeling at this point? Are you going to be ready for training camp here in a few weeks?
Yeah, just I think coming back to Phoenix has been really helpful. Just trying to get my feet under me, trying to figure it out. I feel good, but obviously, the doctor's discretion. What I should do, what's best for me in my future. But yeah, I'm in my rehab process, so it's been good to be able to touch the ball a little bit and continue to work and be around all the people with the Mercury. So yeah, I the goal is to be ready by training camp. But yeah, if everything goes as planned, that's the plan.
And then you've had a really long past 12 months from finishing up. college draft, and then Indiana, and then the time between Phoenix, Connecticut, back to Phoenix, then Australia. What are some of your favorite ways to decompress and recharge, just with how busy you've been?
Yeah, a lot of it, I like I said, I was lucky going to Australia in the summertime, so I haven't had to deal with the winter anywhere. I like being outside at the beach by the pool, enjoying with my family and friends, being around them. I like to get into my devotionals and the Bible and read that. I've started reading again. I'm reading like I guess you'd call it mystery, right now that I got into, and I like to build Legos. Yeah.
And then you also recently held a kids camp in the greater New York area. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Any chance that I get to give back to children, kids younger than me, I have the time of my life. I went to school to be a psychologist, and I wanted to be a child psychologist. Still, hopefully that happens at some point. But I think just being able to give back to the community. I haven't been home for a long time, and haven't been in New York for more than 2 weeks at that. So just to be able to come back home and be able to see some new faces, see some familiar faces, see some younger kids that, you don't realize how many kids look up to you till people show up at your camp and you're like, wow, like, obviously there's more out there, but there's circumstances that, come up. But just to have those kids and have my family and my friends around me to help out, yeah, I'm excited to have it every year. And so, it was the first time, had to learn a few things, get the hold of certain things, but yeah, each year I'm excited for it to be bigger and better. And yeah, just to continue to give back to the community.
Now entering your second season in the league, second season with Phoenix, is a leadership role something that you're interested in taking on, just with Phoenix losing a lot of vets from last year's team?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of situations that I've been in, I've been able to be that leader, and have that leadership role. And I think also like just people can say that you're a leader, but I think like the actual work that you put in, and who you are really demonstrates that. So I mean, if that's what's needed for this team, I'm more than happy to do that. Um, but we have people coming in who have been in the league. We have AT and Satu, and then we have Ka, and Sammy, who I've got to play overseas against. So I mean, we have a lot of vets as well coming back, or coming to the team. So it'll definitely be really cool. But if they have any questions about, I guess, things that are in Phoenix or around the facility, yeah, I'm more than happy to help there. But whatever is needed, I'm big on just wanting to win. So just doing whatever I need, working on my game and continuing to be the best player that I can be.
Yeah. And then what part of your second WNBA season are you most excited for, or are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, I think just knowing that, I already did some of the season last year in the league, and I've impacted in certain areas. And so just I think for me the biggest thing is like to see my progression, to see the progress that I make. I'm excited to see, where this team goes, and to see what I can add to the organization, and continue to add to the organization, but also just, see my personal progression, and the things that I'm getting better at, more comfortable with, and just excited to, be a part of the league.
I noticed that kind of probably about the 10th game in the Sydney Flame season, you started to really improve offensively and you're shooting the ball really well throughout the rest of the year. Was that something that you were really working on in Australia? Or was that something that was kind of more so coming naturally to you?
Yeah. I personally have always, I take a little time to figure out the scene around me, and just, find my role. Like I said, I'm really big in just doing whatever the team needs to win. And we had a lot of people that can score the ball on the team. So, I was just trying to find other ways to continue to impact the game. Um, you know, I I don't show it as frequently, but I know I'm a good shooter. And I know that I can score the ball offensively. And I think that, a lot of it comes with a mindset of, if this is the way I want to show that I'm this type of player, I'm an offensive minded player, then I need to put that into my head. Um, Not obviously not taking away anything defensively, but I think I just got more comfortable in the system, more comfortable in the position that I am, realizing that, in order for us to win, I do need to score. and that it can take a lot of load off of the other players if I do score. And I think for me, it's just like a mentality thing and just mental. Because I know, I'm in the gym all the time and I'm putting up shots and I see myself hitting shots. So I know it's just a mental thing with me, but just having that confidence to just be ready to shoot, catch and shoot, drive, and make plays for my teammates.
And then entering your second year with Phoenix, you won't really have to go through that adjustment again. So how will that really help you in your game entering year two in the league?
Yeah, obviously I think that it will have a huge impact. I mean, like I said, just being more comfortable. The system might be a little bit different just with the different players that we have around, but like I said, just being able to play against people that I played against last year, knowing that, I can guard them or, I can score and things like that. I think that will be super helpful, but I'm definitely excited to play with these new faces and um see some familiar faces around the league.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Celeste. I really
Thank
appreciate you
you.
taking time out of your day for this.
Of course. Thank you.